I think it's nice to draw a line as well and keep what's important and close to you private.
I believe it's ideal to define a boundary too, and keep what's significant and near you private. This tune was fundamentally similar to Is It Enough? Is the stuff that I have some control over enough to kind of shut out the things that I can't? I'm appreciating life. And I share as Damnation partook in this end of the week. Well, people, the superstar extraordinary plant is humming with some delicious tattle. Apparently, Joe Alwyn is feeling some sort of way about Taylor Quick's sprouting sentiment with NFL star Travis Kelce. And he's not precisely setting up a party to celebrate, truth be told. He's essentially shouting ease off from the virtual mountain ridges. And it's all shades of confounded. You see, Joe wasn't precisely anxious to put the relationship real effort in when he and Taylor were a thing, yet now that she's continued on toward Travis, he is by all accounts having a tad of an I don't need you yet. I don't need any other individual to have you either. Second, definitely big name show. At its best correct, we should plunge into this sizzling story and unload Joe Alwyn's not as much as chill response to Taylor Quick's new press Travis Kelce. Yet before we get into it, try to offer the video a go ahead and buy in. So you never pass up any new recordings, it's free, and assists us with colossally bringing out new satisfied for your delight. You understand what they express, all beneficial things should reach a conclusion. And that is precisely exact thing happened when Taylor Quick and Joe Aldwyn finished These People in Love, chose to head out in different directions only half a month prior after their strong 6-year run. And as per an all-around set source in their inward circle, everything unquestionably revolved around those exemplary contrasts in their characters. Now, before you rush to make judgment calls, we should discuss how this relationship thrill ride played out. You see, Quick and Alwyn had endured their reasonable portion of tempests previously and figured out how to fix things up. So their companions felt that they were taking a little breather, the old we want a few space sort of thing. And they'd find their direction back to one another, ultimately. Yet, here's the curve in the tale that at last never truly happened. Turns out after every one of those highs and lows, they basically weren't the right jigsaw pieces for each other. And how about we be genuine? Haven't we as a whole had that sort of second, while you're attempting to place an anomaly, and understand it's simply not functioning admirably? That somewhat occurred here. And like that time you gave mustard a shot watermelon, figuring it would be a culinary magnum opus. It wasn't so lock-in. How about we dive into the separation and the captivating character contrasts that prompted it? So the romantic tale between Taylor Quick and Joe Alwyn, how could it start, you ask? Well, it began back in May of 2017 when the world got of their extremely tranquil sentiment, which had been fermenting unnoticed for a couple of months. It's somewhat of a secret precisely when they first sort of secured eyes, yet fans their Sherlock Holmes. And they have hunches that this could have truly occurred at the 2016 occasion. You see, they settled on some mutual interest and went completely gaga while Taylor was in her standing stage, withdrawing from the world apiece. It was similar to they were in this comfortable little love air pocket. No problem at all. Then the pandemic hit, and they wound up secured together, capable bull to support their association with this confined pandemic accommodating setting. Yet, here's the kicker beyond this affection air pocket. Joe didn't actually know Taylor all that well all through their relationship. They kept their assets away from plain view, staying quiet about the subtleties of their sentiment. Commitment reports went back and forth, leaving fans in tension. Yet they weren't about that affectionate stuff. They reinforced quick over their common enthusiasm for craftsmanship and innovativeness. As a matter of fact, they concocted a seriously melodic tempest together. Taylor released 10 melodies that had Joe's innovative fingerprints all over them. He was going by the nom de plume Bory. And their joint efforts, remember, 6 melodies for Legends, 3 on Evermore. And the clincher, Sweet Nothing on Midnights, it appears. As though this unique pair had something other than affection, keeping them associated. Okay. Currently, we should discuss the obvious issue at hand, Joe Alwyn, and his not-so-cordial relationship with the spotlight. You see, our man Joe has forever been a remarkable confidential person, stressing the significance of keeping his own life, particularly when it came to Taylor. Quick hush, and truth be told, he wasn't precisely excited about being pushed into the public eye. It appears to be that the battle with Taylor's monstrous distinction and the tireless public consideration didn't precisely intrigue Joe. Those character distinctions that got going as minor eccentricities turned out to be increasingly hard to disregard. As the years moved on, they became separated, as some of the time occurs in life presently. Here's where it gets a piece zesty. There were murmurs in the breeze about wedding ringers. And it turns out they were correct. The pair had really been talking about securing the bunch only a couple of months back yet. In spite of those conversations, the future they imagined together wasn't in the cards. Taylor, in the end, couldn't see a drawn-out future for them. So the separation, well, it was anything but a Hollywood blockbuster with emotional firecrackers. It was late and rather quiet section in shutting their romantic tale. Now, regardless of Joe Alwyn's underlying smoothness about Taylor continuing on there, is by all accounts an unobtrusive change in the breezes of his feelings. While he probably won't be all-out furious, there is a feeling of uneasiness, and perhaps a smidgen of envy sneaking in. After all, it's normal for individuals to feel an ache of disquiet when their ex-accomplice continues on, particularly when it's into the arms of another person, like an NFL star. Currently, we should not rush to make judgment calls. Joe could, in any case, wish Taylor well in this new relationship. Yet obviously the circumstance is not so great for himself. And you realize his response isn't a shock, since it's not. Whenever we first seen Joe Alwyn grappling with the post-separation blues, recollect the reports that twirled after Taylor Swift's and Joe split. Better believe it didn't take well before murmurs arose, recommending that Taylor had quickly continued on, this time with the 1975's frontman. Mitty Healy. Currently, here's where things get somewhat more muddled. Joe, it appears, was not precisely excited about Taylor's decision of post-separation organization. It's a piece like when you part ways with somebody and afterward your ex appears at the following party with the most famous youngster in school. And you're there SIV and punch like you got the worst part of the deal, no doubt. So when Taylor delivered that new tune, "You're Losing Me," it left many contemplating whether it was about or parted with Joe. And evidently Joe could have thought he'd be excluded from the entire Harry Styles treatment. You know, the one where you say a final farewell to Taylor quick. And the before you know it, you're a person in one of her graph besting hits. A new insider source spilled the tea. Radar, uncovering that Joe Alwyn is encountering a hurricane of feelings in regards to Taylor Quick's new sentiment with Travis Kelce. This again, not unexpected, on the grounds that the source portrayed the entire Matty Healy circumstance likewise as an exceptionally humiliating and disheartening circumstance for Joe, especially when he sees Taylor as flating her shabby new sentiment. So that the world might be able to see, the course got straight to the point, calling attention to what they saw is false reverence and rudeness in the blend. It resembles an instance of twofold guidelines, where Joel may be having an annoyed outlook on how things have played out now. Joe is no one's match. The insider proposes that he's not one to air his grimy clothing openly, but at the same time he's not one to sit around and allow things to unfurl without voicing his own sentiments regarding this situation in a conscious way. He is by all accounts mentioning a space to continue on from the relationship, and maybe more critically, a few harmony and calm. And you understand what they say, you have no control over issues of the heart. And Taylor Quick positively isn't one to allow anybody to direct her adoration life. It appears as though Taylor's disposition toward Joe's sentiments is a resonating, "I do what I need." The verplant has been humming with stories of a growing sentiment between Taylor Quick and Kansas City bosses tight end Travis Kelce. And it's become one of the juiciest accounts of the NFL season, Taylor being a pop me star, that she realizes that the show should continue and her adoration life isn't one to assume a lower priority in the tornado universe of VIP connections. Everything revolves around carrying on with your life in your own specific manner. So while Joe Alwyn could have his own contemplations and sentiments on the circumstance, plainly Taylor is controlling her own boat. And leaning on her instinct after all adoration doesn't give you a playbook, particularly with regards to stars of this extent. And the two of them are cherishing the entire new power